Good evening, people. It's your man Subset, and I just wanted to share, a few thoughts before I go to bed. Um, it has proven difficult for me to write, because of time, because writing needs time, demands time, and right now I just have a lot on my hands. I can't write, but I would love to, go deeper, into writing, with the coming years, the coming of years. But it just dawned on me that the way we have been viewing infrastructure development, in its holisticity, I think, is that we have always thought that we need to have community centers without realizing that we actually have community centers. And these community centers, because we are community, come from us first. They start with us. So my yard, say my yard, my home, is a community center because I've had kids come play chess in the yard. So this is a place that can be used. This is a space that can be used by kids to learn something that will be useful to them. So say you are a teacher and you have free time on weekends and everything like that. You can call the kids in your street and then help them for 2 3 hours with their homeworks or just with their with their schoolwork, or just teach them something every Saturday or Sunday, depending on what you feel would be, I guess, adequate for you. But we need to start seeing things different. And Kosi has always been on this, but I never really got to understand him. I think he saw it way before I saw it, and I think that the Gibson Sako, whom actually inspired this video, was, I think he saw something, and he saw a need that okay, people, these kids don't have a place to express this talent. Let me offer them space. And so Mansapich Academy came to the fore, and through the assistance of guys like Pakami Lepetu, of the Bleed to Lead theater organization, they put together these events. And I've seen comedy there, I've seen poetry there, now I've seen movie screenings, and they are thinking hip hop, they are thinking music, they're thinking just, everything else. They are trying to accommodate everyone. And now it just dawned on me that the way we have been thinking about community centers and just community infrastructure has been wrong all along. Because usually the community, when it attacks a facility, it attacks it out of frustration. I'm not really condoning that it's right. I'm not saying that it's right, but I am saying that they attack a community center because it's vulnerable, and it was not built by the blood and sweat of the other people, although it was through taxation. But they don't see it that way. They think, no, this is a government building, so we are going to hurt them through a government building. But if you really think about it, we have other centers, we have churches, we have clinics, we have schools. And I was listening to Penel the Black Pen today, who's one of the dudes I learned from, from time to time, and he spoke about a very interesting idea about actually schools and churches, especially churches. He spoke about churches can actually be centers of music, because that's where a lot of the keyboardists and other people who deal and other people who deal with just musical talent actually harness their skills and hone their skills. They usually hone them in I know I've worked with keyboardists in the past, and I know their foundation is church. So this was mind blowing to see that he just revealed to me just how useful the church is the church as an organization is. And but we can use schools, because I mean schools like Padirile have basketball courts and tennis courts, I think, and I think volleyball courts and netball courts. These courts can be made available to the community, because I mean they will be still be maintained by the government, and they will be protected by the school, because the community won't look at it as a government facility. They will look at it as a school. And since if you burn a school, then where's your kid going to learn? So these community these school facilities can be used, because a lot of them are just there. I know there's a basketball court in Paderile, but there's no basketball team in Khutong. There is a basketball court in Relebohile, and there is no basketball team in Khutong. I know for a fact that there is what do you call this? There is a soccer field in Tswasongu, Padirile, and Relebohile, and I think even in some of these primary schools there are soccer fields, but they are not being used. And these are this is actual infrastructure. If you really think about it, that is not used. In just there by Extension 3 in Khutong, there used to be like a soccer pitch, that had like, I think, those rubber floors and everything, where it was done by the government and everything. They stole those things. So you see, they're not protected. But if you had that same facility built in a place like in the Hlanganani primary school, that facility would have been, would still be in good condition, because number one, there is security at the school, so it's not easy to break in there and cause any havoc. We have schools in Carltonville. We have facilities in Carltonville that can be accessed and used. I mean, we have theaters, theaters that are just there, that you have to pay a lot of money to get, All I'm saying is we need to really reimagine infrastructure and see it how, the likes of Monsepech Academy, Khositile Monoto, of the Khutong Literary Club, who actually runs an after-school care program in his own yard. That's infrastructure. That's really using what you have. We have a gym in some yard in Batswani. We have parks. I've seen aerobics take place in parks. So, do we really have a lack of infrastructure, or is it that we are just looking at infrastructure, in a way that we demand from the government? I mean, all of the money that's how can I put this? That is invested in this new infrastructure could be put into something else that is going to benefit the community. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like we have enough infrastructure, and this actually builds upon my proposition of an infrastructure of the mind, that we need to really invest in the internal the internal infrastructure of a human being. And that means we have to develop the mind. We have to build, upon the mind, because that's where we are going to have more, more crystallizing and manifesting in the outside. Because if we don't have that, then we are still going to build something and destroy it. Understand? Because only a few people understand how important the infrastructure is. But if we have more people understanding how important the infrastructure is, then it becomes difficult for us to destroy it. You understand what I'm saying? But that's just, a proposition. That's just an idea. If you have maybe any more ideas, you can obviously, share them on the comment section. And let's engage on that level. With that said, man, I will leave it here, because I will build on how we can. I think on my next video I will talk about how we can actually build an infrastructure of the mind. And remember, people, this is me thinking out loud. I'm just learning how to speak. Basically, this is so like an exercise for me, although I am trying to share great ideas. Correct me if I'm wrong, and thank you for everything like that. So we are going to, on the next video, we are going to talk about the infrastructure of the mind and how we can build it. So, sure, I have a few ideas on it. I think they are good ideas. So, fire, fire, peace and love.